With the dawn of the metaverse, advocates are suggesting that it will change global fortunes for the better, bringing us closer to a more sustainable way of living. Whether this is genuinely attainable or not, we will have to wait and see, but initial suggestions are that it could in fact be possible. Today, we're discussing how the metaverse could bring us close to the sustainable reality we have all been hoping for. Let's jump straight in then. What exactly is the metaverse? Metaverse is the broad name given to what many simply perceive to be cyberspace. Many think of it this way because it doesn't refer to one specific type of tech, but a way in which we interact with technology. Some of these technologies include AR, VR, and virtual worlds via games like Fortnite. It is expected that eventually, the metaverse will allow us to create a new digital economy where users can create, buy, and sell all sorts of products and services. Many people believe this has existed for years in games such as World of Warcraft and the Fortnite as mentioned above. Detractors even suggest that the metaverse is just a newer, cooler video game. However, these games aren't simply the metaverse. Suggesting they are is like saying that Google is the internet. We know this isn't the case. The metaverse will allow its users to immerse themselves in a borderless world using AR systems to overlay the parallel world onto the offline world, which people can now use to experiment with. Mark Zuckerberg has said in the past that he sees the metaverse as the natural successor to the mobile internet, which merges both the online and offline world. Imagine a parallel digital universe that operates similarly to the analog world. Eventually, it should allow users to explore, indulge in different pursuits, and create things. The only constraint will be the user's imagination. So what about sustainability in the metaverse? Well, as more and more people indulge in the metaverse, analysts have suggested that carbon emissions will be cut significantly. This will be brought about by the reliance on physical goods being substituted for digital ones. Even meeting up with friends, which has always meant using fuel to get to your destination and then inevitably adding to your carbon footprint by buying goods and services, will be minimized by simply meeting up digitally. It's also hoped that the immersive nature of the metaverse could help combat long-held barriers in attitudes towards climate change. And it's not just sustainability for the environment. Advocates are suggesting that social sustainability is also attainable, as the metaverse will be a place which promotes inclusivity, accessibility, and equality. New customer strategies devised by business leaders will almost certainly include policies focusing on better climate strategies and a focus on fairer social outcomes. It will be interesting to see how the metaverse copes with implementing its vision as it grows, but some have suggested that regulation and investment will be key. In contrast, others have pointed to their example in the real world. I mean, how far has regulation gotten us in our quest to combat climate change so far? Not far at all is the answer. What do you guys think about sustainability and the metaverse? Is it viable? Let us know what you think below. What else do we know then? Stay tuned to find out. Some metaverse advocates have suggested that as the metaverse grows and services become more widely available, people will start adjusting their budgets for certain products available within the parallel world. Of course, most things available in the metaverse will be much more sustainable than physical products, as they require fewer resources and, more importantly, fewer fossil fuels to make them. It is hoped that this will be a game changer for industries that have traditionally been waste heavy. If you're in the metaverse, you don't particularly need the latest Yeezy sneakers, right? Overconsumption should be more limited with the advent of the metaverse, which is definitely a good thing. Another benefit of the new world is the reduction in travel, specifically air travel. As we saw with the recent COVID pandemic, the environment began to heal itself as more people stayed home, using less cars and airplanes. Now that people know that they can conduct everyday meetings virtually, they will almost certainly carry this practice on into the metaverse, where business meetings will eventually be very similar to in-person. It's also thought that with the dawn of the metaverse, the tech behind it can be used to identify and implement carbon reduction schemes. Digital twin technology is also able to reduce a building's carbon emissions by 50%. I mean, what's not to like? Next up, a huge own goal from one of Mark Zuckerberg's employees. Stay with us. Zuck will be absolutely furious as news recently dropped that his $10 billion headset was recently left in a hotel room by one of his staff members. The metaverse gadget, known as the Meta Quest Pro VR headset, features 3 external cameras and some wildly futuristic-looking controllers. There is also video footage of the device posted online by a man known as Ramiro Cardenas. It's thought that the headset will have a front and center role in Meta's plans for the metaverse in the near future, which is why Zuckerberg pumped so much money into its development. The video shows its box with a sticker reading, "Not for resale, engineered engineering sample. There is also a MetaQuest Pro label on display in the corner of the box. It is thought that the forgetful employee has now been reunited with the expensive piece of kit, which is set to be formally introduced at next month's Connect event. It's thought that Zuck will reveal the device to the world as Meta's official VR headset for use in the parallel world. Zuckerberg recently launched his Meta company, which of course incorporates Facebook and Instagram under its wing, and it appears he's gambling a lot on its success. However, if their recent release, Horizon Worlds, is anything to go by, then they could be in for a pretty rocky road over the next few years, as it was widely mocked. What do you guys make of this gaffe? We're talking about a new Buddhist metaverse now. Stick around. As the world begins to slowly become more and more aware of the inner workings of the metaverse and what on earth it actually is, the folks over at Kyoto University in Japan have been hard at work. Terraverse is a new project being developed by the Institute for the Future of Society at Kyoto University and Terraverse Inc., and reportedly harbors designs on bringing Buddhism into the modern world. Those Japanese language buffs amongst you will be well aware that Terra is the Japanese word for Buddhist temple, and the company wants to host branches of real Buddhist temples in virtual space. They believe by bringing Buddhist temples to the metaverse, they will no longer be inhibited by the physical world and its perceived limitations of space and time, and will allow the user to visit these beautiful temples. Of course, this will allow avid Buddhists, as well as those who might be curious about the religion, to visit more rural temples, those tucked away in the remotest parts of Japan. Kyoto University professor Seiji Kumaji said, "With the COVID-19 pandemic and Russian-Ukraine war, more and more people are feeling pressure in the real world. The Buddhist virtual space that we started, Terraverse, released as a prototype, are new ways to fuse traditional knowledge and science. As an option in today's diversified society, we hope to deliver healing and enjoyment to people, create new vitality and hope, and realize a more vibrant society. Bravo, sir." And finally, a South Korean man has been sentenced to jail for a metaverse sex crime. Proving that some people will abuse anything, a South Korean man in his 30s has this week been sentenced to 4 years in prison for producing and storing sexually explicit material involving children on the metaverse. Sex crimes are one of the biggest problems facing the tech-heavy nation, so setting an early precedent on crimes involving the metaverse will hopefully lay down a marker that says that the Korean government will not tolerate this kind of thing. The man's identity was withheld, but he is known to have possessed images of underage victims whom he had coerced into filming themselves and sending the files to him. It's thought that he first contacted his victims via a Korean metaverse platform, grooming the children by misrepresenting himself with an avatar which suggested he was younger than he actually was. He will also be required to undergo 80 hours of therapy and has been banned from working with vulnerable people for 7 years. Only 7 years? Earlier this week, a lawmaker for the opposition in Korea suggested that sexual offenses in the metaverse should be treated and punished the same as crimes in the normal world, which we completely agree with. As usual, thanks for dropping in on us today, and remember to tune in again next time for some more fun reveals. And why not do us a solid by liking and sharing today's video, while also subscribing to our channel so you don't miss any more great content. Bye!